Hi. Okay, so I just wanted to give an update. I haven't been around for the last month. Basically, I've been in bed sick. It is now February 4th, I think today, maybe 5th. I'm not sure. I've totally lost track of all days. And I've been in bed since December 28th. So I've been sick for well over a month now. Um, it has been one of the worst sicknesses I've ever had. And usually I can cut things off at the pass. I usually know enough about, my little home remedies and all the things I do to get on top of it that it never really gets this bad. And if I do have a cold or whatever, it's gone in a week. Okay, if it does run its course. This has been totally bad. Okay, so I have been in the beginning, I coughed and coughed 24/7 for probably 3 weeks. I was just coughing, coughing, coughing up phlegm. I pulled some muscles. My ribs are still so incredibly sore, even though the coughing has stopped. And then it went all into my nose. I was blowing, blowing, blowing. I went through 25 boxes of Kleenex, and they're the big size. So it was incredible. Like, it was just so much behind. And anyways, about 3.5 weeks in, so it was maybe around 2 weeks ago now, it was so bad that my husband said, "You have, like, none of this is working. You've got to go to the doctors. You've got to see what this is." I said, "Well, like, I'm not taking antibiotics. I can't take antibiotics. I've, you know, been warned against relapse by taking an antibiotic, and I've done so much work on my gut. I just really don't." But, there are some cases where bacterial infections, it's better to take the antibiotic than let yourself die, right? So you sort of have to weigh that. So I decided, okay, well, I'll go. I'll see what he thinks it is. I'll, get the swab, do whatever, see what's going on, and then I can make an informed decision. So I went up to emergency. The doctor was fairly useless, but that's a whole nother story. Anyways, he ended up diagnosing me with pneumonia and sinusitis. And I believe it started as bronchitis, actually. Anyways, so he did give me a script for an antibiotic and for a steroid, of which he said I both needed to take because it was likely bacterial and it needed to, he didn't want it to go into my brain or my blood or whatever. And I did ask him about how long I could give it and using natural remedies, and he just kind of looked at me sideways. He's like, "You need this. You got to take this." So I left the office saying to my husband, "Okay, well, I'm not ready to take this. I'm going to do everything I can for the next 2 weeks and then assess it at that point." So then I pulled out the big guns and I started really going into all my treatments, all the things that I've learned over the years, everything that can kill viral and bacterial. And I will post a video right after this one of giving you, for your own health, what you can do when you're in this situation, and all the remedies that I use and that I've currently used. So over the next week and a half, I'm happy to say that all the coughing has stopped. Most of the blowing, almost all of it, is completely gone. I am left with seriously sore ribs under my right rib cage, so I don't know if that's from coughing so much or just like the pneumonia down in here. So I'm just not sure whether, what is causing the pain and the sore and tender ribs and everything. So I have that symptom that's still left to really I have still a little bit of a voice and a throat kind of like click in there. I have a little bit of blowing in the morning and night. My sinuses, but at one point they were so puffy here. My sinuses were just a mess. It was just so brutal. And so all the swelling has gone back down around my eyes. And I believe it's gone into my ears because my eustachian tubes are not working properly, and have complete vertigo. So I'm just like walking like I'm on a cruise ship, just boo, and this has happened to me before, after the birth of both my children. If you ever listen to my story. Anyway, so it is a paranoid symptom that I have because it's what it started off my whole illness in the first place. this vertigo, because it's a very disabling symptom, really, because although it's not painful, it doesn't hurt in any way. It does, your brain fog is super thick. And like when I start to do things like even just walk in the kitchen or get out my supplements, get out my remedies, walk to the fridge, back to the counter, it's like I'm just going crazy. It's like I have to stop. It's debilitating in the sense you can't drive, you can't, walk around, you can't load and unload the dishwasher, you can't do anything. So it's very, anxiety producing in the sense that you're like, oh my gosh, I can't live with this. This has to stop. But I have those two big symptoms left, and if I can make a dent in those two symptoms with my natural protocols, on which I'll post next, I'm giving this till the end of this weekend, then I'm definitely not taking the antibiotics. And I think I'm past the point of needing them with so much cleared already. But if the vertigo and the ears don't clear, I'll still consider it. But it's definitely not what I want to do. So I have pulled out the big guns, and I expect to beat this naturally. But one of the things I wanted to talk about is that this cold or flu or bacterial infection, viral, bacterial, whatever exactly it is, I think it's a little of both, has brought me to a point of not really being able to get off the couch, and my exhaustion, my fatigue, just not being able to do anything. Basically been in bed or on the couch for 30 days. And so I've had a lot of time to think. And I've come up with some really, powerful insights in time that I wouldn't have had if this hadn't have hit me. So in a way, it's been beneficial. I stopped all my research over these last 30 days. I've stopped listening to the health podcast, researching, like continual search and quest for knowledge, which I've had for as like basically every second of my day is consumed by it for the last nearly 6 years. And I have given it up in the last 30 days. And instead, I've only focused on my mind. How can I heal myself with my mind? And the mind-body, connection, and meditating, and thinking, and being with the symptoms, and sitting with the symptoms, and sitting with my thoughts, and, just there's so much that I've come to the realization about in the last 30 days. One of the things is that, I have really been in fight or flight for 6 years. I've constantly been on the search. I've constantly been researching. I've constantly been doing, getting, trying to hide it from my family and my kids, and cooking their dinners and cleaning the house, and even the little things like that. They take so much effort, so much time. I'm always pacing. I'm always doing things. I've always got a to-do list. I've always got a next thing. I'm constantly researching, constantly not living up to my own standards, constantly on the quest for healing myself. And what I can see when this has forced me to sit down and not move is that I didn't realize, after about the first 2 weeks, and I couldn't get up, it was crazy to me that I was actually just sitting all day long with nothing to do, no task before me. And I could see that my body was settling out of fight or flight. For the first time maybe in 6 years. It was actually truly, I wasn't just doing meditation for a half an hour and then getting up and going on to the next thing on my list, which is either, making the bone broth or a green juice, or walking or exercising, or, doing whatever, even if it's for my health or if it's for my family. But I wasn't moving on. I was sitting, and then I was sitting some more, and sitting again, and resting, and sitting, and thinking, and thinking. And my body was finally, for the first time, coming out of fight or flight mode. And so I have had some really big insights on the mind-body connection and healing yourself through your mind and what it actually takes to get out of fight or flight. I didn't even think at this point that I was still in fight or flight. I honestly thought, I meditate, I know my triggers, I'm trying to, think positive and all these different things, but I didn't realize, even with all the work that I had already done, my body was actually still in fight or flight. It was, and it took a couple of weeks for it to come down. And then I realized, oh my God, this is what it feels like when I'm not in fight or flight. And so I do have a lot of insights about that. I'm going to be doing videos on that. And I want to talk a lot more about the mind-body connection. Meditating, how to be with your thoughts, how to be with your symptoms. Things that I didn't expect to learn, but I did learn. And so I will do some videos about that. And I am going to do some videos about what you can do and the protocols. And so I just wanted to give a quick update. I'm still here, still alive, I'm still kicking, I'm working on it, and there are plenty of videos to come. So hope this helps.